Now let's look at essential step number 4. Maximising your exam score relies upon editing your writing. Yes, in your exam, you really need to edit your writing before you submit it. After firstly reading and analysing the question, and secondly writing a clear plan, the third most important part of writing a successful exam essay is editing your writing. This means reading through what you have written several times to check different aspects of your answer before you give it in to be examined. You will need to leave time for this at the end of your exam. There are 3 main areas for you to check, so you will need to scan your essay 3 times to complete this essential process of editing. Editing check 1 will involve checking your structure, which should be okay if you had a good plan to start with. But it's always worth checking, so read through your thesis, topic sentences, and make sure they're as clear as possible. If you're not sure if the reader will understand any of these essential sentences in your essay, rewrite these key parts now. It is essentially important, especially when writing an exam essay, that the topic and thesis sentences are clear. Secondly, you'll need to edit the content of your writing. So have a look and check that the ideas you have written are developed clearly. Make sure that your writing moves from general to specific ideas in a clear, logical way, which includes stating each idea, explaining that idea, and providing detailed specific support for that idea from your notes. After that, you should have an interpretation of the idea. Add sentences now if you need to make sure that each idea, for example, each reason for your point of view, is completely, clearly developed. Also check that you have paraphrased and correctly referenced any information you have taken from the academic sources provided in the listening and reading. Doing this will ensure a higher content mark. For more information on paraphrasing, you can look back at your textbook, Unit 1C, Writing, Paraphrasing, on page 19, and Unit 4A, Reading, Paraphrasing 2, Noun-Verb Transformations, on page 69. Your final editing check in the exam should be your language. Finally, look at your language to make sure that you have made the best, most academic word and phrase sentence choices to express your ideas. Ask yourself, have I used a variety of good academic vocabulary in key areas? For example, in reason and result language. Check that each sentence has a verb and that the verb agrees with the noun or noun phrase in your subject. Make sure that words are spelt correctly, especially words you have been given in the reading and in the exam title. Also, most importantly, you need to check the areas where you know that you yourself often make errors in your writing. Go back through, for example, and check articles, passive, sentence structure, whichever things You often have made mistakes in the course that have been shown to you by your teacher. A tip here is that leaving time for this editing process and going through it carefully often makes the difference between passing and failing on writing exams. Examiners are always very impressed if they see that a student has made corrections to improve their writing through editing, and this can be a very strong positive effect on the exam score an essay receives. So remember, you don't need to rub out your mistakes with a rubber in the exam. Put a line through them and correct them so that the examiner can see that you have done this. Take a few minutes now to check through your exam essay before you move on to compare what you have written with some possible models that I have provided for you in the next few pages. Please be aware that the note-taking and example writing that follows is for you to compare with your own work only. Your writing and structure will certainly differ from the examples you will read on the next few pages because you will have taken a different position and written a different thesis. However, the essential elements in your writing should be similar. There won't be any videos in the example section. So for now, I will say goodbye and thanks for listening. I hope you do very well on your upcoming exam.